If you just started playing Phasmophobia or you want to get better at it, then this is the perfect video for you. I'm going to be showing you 50 pro tips for Phasmophobia. If you have a tip for the community that I've left out, please drop them in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's hop right into the tips. The TV remote is considered to be a light switch, so if you drop it in the ghost's room and the ghost turns on the TV, then you can rule out a mare. The TV remote can also be used to check if a ghost is still hunting or not. If you can use it and you hear that clicking noise, then the ghost is not hunting. If you don't hear the clicking noise anymore when you're using it, then that means the ghost is hunting. Be careful though, if you're downstairs, the clicking noise is pretty muffled when you're using it downstairs. You can also use the light switches to check if a ghost is hunting. If you can move the light switches, that means the ghost is not hunting. If you can't move the light switches, that means the ghost is hunting. If you are in trouble and you need to escape quickly but the door swings to the wrong side, I have a small trick for you. It usually takes way too long to open a door and then walk through it, so you can just phase through them. And the way you do it is pretty easy. You hold the door, look down, and you just move forwards. Try to spot differences between ghost events and hunts. During ghost events, usually the light turns off in your room and the ghost is instantly visible and walking to you. With the cloud ghost event, the lights also turn off, but there's a cloud coming at you instead of a ghost model. If there's a hunt, the front door closes fully, the light starts to flicker, and you will hear footsteps as soon as the grace period is over. During the grace period, the ghost will be invisible and cannot attack you. If the ghost is doing manifested ghost events with the ghost model, then that means the ghost is at that position after the ghost event happened. So if a ghost decides to hunt after the ghost event, it will usually hunt right at that position. If there's a cloud ghost event coming at you, that means the ghost will not be at that position after the cloud ghost event happened. If you have a fingerprints ghost, you can take 2 photos of doors if doors are being moved. One of them will be the interaction, which lasts for 20 seconds, and the other one will be the fingerprint. If the ghost is busting the light bulbs in a room, it will still try to turn on the lights even though the lights are busted. So you can still rule out a mare if it tries to turn on a light. You can identify ghosts just by listening to their footsteps during hunts. If you want to learn how to do that, I'm gonna link a video in the top right corner. You should turn off your flashlight or electronics before you go hiding. The ghosts are able to track your equipment that you're holding in your hand. So if the ghost is within 9 meters range of you and you have your electronics on in your hiding spot, you're pretty much dead. Never try to hide in plain line of sight of the ghost when you're going into a locker or a closet. If it sees you there, it will forcefully open the locker and will kill you. So try to break line of sight first before you go hiding. Always remember, the ghost will be hanging out at your last seen location for a little bit. So the further away from the last seen location you are, the better. If you are on professional difficulty and lower, always try to rule out ghosts. So for example, if you don't see orbs in the ghost's room, then just go to the journal and rule out orbs completely. You can also do something similar on nightmare mode. Nightmare mode only allows you to gather 2 evidences. So let's say you only have 1 evidence so far. But you also know that it cannot be fingerprints and it cannot be spirit box because of your testing. Since on nightmare mode it cannot hide both of them, you can activate them and rule out the ghost underneath. On long hallways, use doors to break line of sight with the ghost and try to get away like that. If your flashlight flickers, it doesn't necessarily mean the ghost is able to track you. Because the flashlight flickers at a 10 meter range and the ghost can track you at 9 meters range. Put down candles and glow sticks so you can see the ghosts better during hunts. You can now take pictures of the salt piles when the ghost stepped into the salt. If you don't see the word footstep on the photo, then it is a wraith. You can also try to take pictures of footsteps when they are happening without the UV light. It's not the most accurate way, but it still works. Try to place a salt along the wandering points of the ghost. That way you will have a higher chance of the ghost walking into the salt. If you have a ghost event where the ghost model physically manifests, you can lay down salt in front of it so it walks into it. I highly recommend to remember the passive sanity drain if you are standing in the dark. If you are going solo on a small map, you are losing 7.2% per minute. On a medium map, it's gonna be 4.8% per minute. And on a large map, it's gonna be 3% per minute. If you are 2 or more players, those values are going to be doubled. Always have a lit candle in your hand so the sanity drain completely stops. You have to have it in your hand, just being near it will not stop the sanity drain. Always turn on the lights in the building if you can, so you're not draining any sanity. If you are standing within the lights, the sanity drain will completely stop. Ghost events can only draw your sanity if they catch you. So if you run away from ghost events and you won't get the hiss, you won't drop 10%. The standing ghost event is different though. If you walk up to it or you are being close to it and you move, it's gonna drop your sanity by 10%. Use 2 motion sensors to track the direction the ghost is going. This is essential because then you know if the ghost is in a certain room or not. If you are on a bigger map, you could put them further apart and test the speed of the ghost like that. Just measure the time you have to walk between the two and then you can compare it to the ghost speed. The parabolic mic has a timer on the bottom right that you could use to figure out cooldowns of the ghosts. So you could use it to measure time between the hunts, for example. You can use dots projectors and motion sensors to get more lights in the scenery as well. You should always crouch if you try to run away. That way the ghost cannot grab line of sight of you, it cannot speed up and it might actually also lose you. You should use the EMF detector if you think you have a teleporting or wandering ghost at your hand. Both the Phantom and the Banshee will give you an EMF too when they come for you. They will come for you anywhere on the map, so having an EMF with you will confirm you one of these 2 ghosts. If you have a lit candle on top of a crucifix and the ghost uses the crucifix beneath it, then you can rule out an Onryo completely. Onryos use candles like crucifixes, so you cannot use both of them at the same time. You can use the paramic during a hunt and point it at the ghost. Preferably at a safer distance than I am doing here, but you can get paranormal sounds that way. Try not to use your sprint when you're near the ghost and you're close to a hunt, so you can use it when you're really in danger. Bears and bunnies can be thrown around, they can be teleported or they can giggle. The ghost can even turn the head around of the teddy bear. If this stuff is happening, it will also leave an EMF too, which you can take a photo of. The items that are being thrown around can be used to take pictures as well. If the same item is getting thrown around multiple times, you can even take multiple pictures of it. And here again, take the picture of the item within 20 seconds before the EMF runs out. So technically, if you have something like a poltergeist and there's multiple items being thrown, you can separate the items to see if multiple items give you an EMF reading. You can also take photos of each Ouija board question you ask. You can take photos of dots and you can take photos of used crucifixes now. You can take a crucifix photo of each stage of it being used. So that means you can take 2 crucifix photos per crucifix. You should always crouch if you want to take a photo of the summoning circle, otherwise you won't get a 3-star photo out of it. You should turn off the lights in the ghost room to increase the ghost's activity. If you are in the same room as the ghost, you should get in as many recognized phrases as you can. This here is a list of the recognized phrases you can use. Keep in mind that you should keep talking because the activity will decay over time. You can also smudge the ghost to increase activity even more. The ghost needs to be within 6 meters of the smudge for it to apply. It will increase its activity permanently for 90 seconds. It will also prevent the ghost from hunting for the same amount of time. If the ghost has writing as an evidence and it throws the writing book, it has to write in the book. There's one exception though. On Nightmare it could hide writing evidence and it could throw the book and it will not write in it. So always place the book so you can clearly remember its position. If you have troubles finding the ghost, you should always close all the doors in the building. You should use the EMF reader to find the ghost room quickly. It's by far the best tool to figure out where the ghost exactly is if you can get there within 20 seconds. If you are turning on the breaker, you should wait at least 2 minutes until you go find the ghost room with the thermometer. All of the rooms warm up randomly after you turned on the breaker, but it takes at least 2 minutes till all of them reach their temperature. You should create piles in the ghost room to see if it is a poltergeist. Poltergeists like to do multi-throws, so if you see a huge explosion of your pile, then you know it's a poltergeist. If you have a hard time getting evidence out of the ghost, like the ghost riding for example, try to remove all the items from the ghost room. The less items the ghost has to interact with, the higher the chance of it to do the ghost riding. Try to smudge ghosts near the end of hunts if you want to test cooldowns of the ghosts. The no hunt cooldown will also apply if you smudge the ghost during hunts, and it will apply as soon as the smudge stick hits the ghost. If the ghost saw you near your hiding spot in the last hunt, try to switch over to another hiding spot for the next hunt. The ghosts have a 50% chance to check out your last known position during the next hunt. If you are on the campsite map, use the campfire to block line of sight with the ghost during hunts. This is by far the best way to get away from the ghosts on these maps. Always make sure that you have a lighter with you and you have your flashlight off. If you have lots of 4 to 5 spikes on the activity board, you are likely dealing with an EMF 5 ghost. Make sure that you get lots of them to confirm it properly. Make sure to bring all of your equipment to the ghost room first to minimize sanity drain. I usually find the ghost room with the EMF and then I move all of my items into the ghost room and then I start investigating. It's the best way to actually have control over your sanity. This is especially important on the higher difficulties since you don't have a lot of sanity to work with. And the last one, if you want ghost events, you need to move closer to the ghost room. Ghost events do not happen over large distances, so you need to be very close to the ghost to actually get them. Let me know in the comments which of these tips you didn't know of. Thank you guys for watching and we see us in the next one. Oh, all these patrons. Thank you so much guys for your support. Mwah. Big schmouts.